Hi, I'm Kurt from Oz Armour, and welcome to Workshop Wednesday. You filmed that whole thing. Work on the Wesp has been a little stop-start lately, but in the quieter periods waiting for parts, they've been chipping away at the Panzer II c hull. The floor is all original, but it's been really difficult to work with. So the boys came up with the idea to make a large frame to help square up all the bent pieces of the floor and the hull sides.
We're making sure we're going to leave enough room we can reach in under these cross members and put bolts in there to hold it all together. So we'll plant them on, we'll go through and just weld them in position. So everything's going to be dead flat, dead level, and it won't move when we want to push and pull on it.
I-beams are welded together at 90 degrees and form the uprights, with lengths of box section making up the floor. The entire frame is secured to the ground with dynabolts into the concrete, so it's not going anywhere. This is a really versatile setup that will help the workshop build future projects.
Digging in the box of goodies. Someone in here is the bit I need, and it'll be right at the bottom. The problem we have is that, as you can see down here, it's been oxy cut off. We can judge where the front is because we've got a bit of the weld showing. So we know that is the front, but we're missing it's chunky, and we don't know whether the side was here or here. We're going to find the center of this line of holes here and then measure back on this stringer here. We'll find center here and the distance there, and that should give us the inside of the hull. So we're going to work out our edge, come back 50mm, cut that nice and neat, so we'll join in a brand new piece with 50mm flats on. That chalk's pretty good for what we want. Come across. Because we'll be trimming off this side here, we'll lose this hole. So what I'll do is I'll make sure before we cut it off I get the right hole center and mark it in position so I can re-drill the hole through later. Because I want to find this angle out, a quick way to do it, I've got an angle here, and from that I can just bring that angle across. That's where I cut it. So that's our piece that's going to go in here.
Every piece that shares an edge with both hull sides has some damage to it, so all of the pieces are going to need the same treatment. It's easy enough to cut parts off, but it's a lot more difficult to add it back in if we cut too much away. So exact measurements are critical.
So I've just put a line through so I don't accidentally wipe off my mark. Now I can just go back through and cut it all the way through. We're not having much luck with the weather. There's a cyclone, tropical cyclone going across the coast tomorrow, a little bit north of us, and we're getting a lot of weather and rain, and we like to do our grinding work outside, so it's slowing us down a bit. The slag from when they oxy cut the vehicle.
We should have more information about the history of this vehicle as the restoration progresses, But judging by the severe bulge from what looks like an internal explosion, the rough oxycuts and the fractures, this Panzer II had a hard life both during and after the war.
That looks to me like it's the fillet weld. See, it's curved where the weld is. So I'm just going to trim this off through there. That's where the actual weld is torn and taken the bit of that bottom with it. About 3 hours later, this one piece is prepped ready. Unfortunately, we can only show you a small snippet about the work that happens. We're working in a workshop environment. Sometimes it's not easy to film. But just to give you an idea, this is about 3 hours work prepping and getting all this ready.
With all the floor pieces prepped, it's time to start the job the boys have been dreading, the assembly. The new edges have been replaced and attached to the hull side, but that doesn't mean everything will line up easily. We have to make sure the pieces fit together and that the dozens of holes line up, as we'll be using the original internal frame, which will rely on these holes. But those holes also need to line up with the holes on the hull sides. Add in the stretching, bending and twisting the metal has gone through and you have a recipe for madness. It's lucky the boys built this frame. Without it, this would be impossible.
I'll throw one in here. So now you can see that piece is pulled all the way down. Along this piece here, we've only got sections of the original floor where it's been tore off. Like you can see, it's been tore off there, it's been tore off the back there. So you can kind of see we've got a rough guide of where this is going to go, which is handy for us.
This is one of the main difficulties. We need to maintain the correct internal width of the vehicle, but also keep the hole centers aligned.
This also might need to come in that way a bit. 20, so we just need to rotate this out slightly. So I should be able to pull down. It'd be nice if we can get a clamp in there actually. You can see this is all pulled up now from doing that. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to make sure that this comes up and over where it's fractured off. Pretty good. It's got a slight raise. I think this has still got a slight dip in it, this actual part of floor. But so what I'll do is I'm going to screw down here and I'm hoping that this will pull down a little bit more. Much better. It's 23. 23. It's not too bad. Yeah, it's better. Now you can see the holes lining up. This is actually sitting on top, on flush. This has gone level. Yeah, I made these plates up on Thursday last week just in case we needed them. And that is better. Slightly better. Still slightly raised there. See, it's good here now, really good there. Like perfect. better. So I reckon what we do now is we'll just put some more tacks in, and then this piece is done, and we can move to our next piece.
With the front half of the floor tacked in, I lend my expertise with a chalk line to mark the left hull side position.
Yeah. Are you ready? Yeah. Now it's just a matter of lining these holes up. So when we bolt these stringers on, this should be bang on.
It's not just the floor and sides that need to line up. We are also using the original internal frame, which has its own challenges when it comes to fixing it up.
These are the housing for the swing arm to go through and center on. There's usually bearings in here. We're not going to be using bearings for this. Just because these are so blown up and damaged, it's going to be almost impossible unless we were to get, say, a company to come in and machine out the stub axle housings so they're perfect. With nylon bushes, there'll be a little bit more play. This here is a dummy axle that Daryl's turned on the lathe. Inside here, we'll line up this, and he's turned it so it's got a shoulder, which will line up with the outside of the hull side, so that we know that that's lined up and that's lined up perfect. It allows us to be able to bolt these stringers down. This is all lining up now, which is good. So now we can start to look at bolting some of these down. And now that we've got this measurement here, we can start working out this too. Getting to the end, and it's just getting a bit firm along in here. So what we're doing is we're just honing these out. This one here is going straight in. You can see how we want it, but it's very corroded. See all the pitting? It was really corroded. The other one you can kind of see it's a little bit better. It's got a little bit of corrosion, but not as much as this one over here.
Corrosion like this basically makes fitting bearings impossible. For the amount of use this vehicle will be getting and to maximise the use of original parts, a nylon bushing system is the best way forward for us. The other advantage is that we can make them here, cutting out what is usually a lengthy delay and a big expense for a project.
Daryl, how has the process been so far?
It's been fun. If you describe pulling your hair out as fun. We've got the floor down nice and straight. Jess has tacked it all in place, ready to go, and we're about to put the other side on.
What's been the trickiest part so far?
You can see that section there where it had been blown out and it stretched things. We also had pieces that were oxy cut out, pieces that were sheared off, things like that.
How did you go aligning the holes with the inner frame?
We've put that stringer in, we're happy with that, and then I'll just show you how easy this rotates. See that I can do that with my hand.
How challenging was that?
It's not easy because everything's been blown apart, bent and twisted. So it's just a matter of fitting it, checking it, packing the bolts, tightening it down, checking it again, and then we're tack welding it so it can't move after that. As long as we pay enough attention and spend enough time now getting this part right, everything else will be easy later on. Yep. Alright, hold it there. Just hold it there. Cool. Have to go across here and here. This is just a temporary.
No, this is how it's all held together.
Alright, just now we can take the forklift away.
And just like that, from a few hundred kilos of scrap to the bones of a real Panzer II. There's just one part missing before we hit pause on this project and head back to the Wesp.
Is there a right down?
Yep. I've got that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not there, Daryl. It's also touching here.
Right, just see we'll go across the back. 01. Right, that's good. 1401's good. 1405. What we're doing here is we've got a internal measurement we're trying to match, keep it the same all the way through the vehicle. When we welded this together, it might have stretched a bit or been a bit too wide, so we just relief cut through there with the grinder. So now we can put a clamp on the top, clamp it in, and then weld it.
That's all we have time for today. If you think the boys earned it, let them know in the comments and support the museum by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And tune in next Wednesday for your weekly tank restoration fix. So until then, I'm Kurt from Oz Armour, and I'll see you on the next one.
What we now have is a basic hull shape of the Panzer II. So a lot more work to go, but at least you guys can see what's happening and the amount of work that goes into putting these vehicles together. I hope you've enjoyed it.
This is a really versatile setup that will serve the museum, that will serve the workshop well, that will serve the workshop, that will help the workshop build future projects. My God.